Welcome to the Enable Growth channel. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Enable Growth podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and I know it's your favorite subject, influencer marketing. It's become so popular and everybody's getting into it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a couple of things that we need to remember when we're doing influencer marketing so we can get the results. Because at the end of the day, it's all about results. Okay, so let's start this. What exactly is influencer marketing? I'm not going to give you like a what is definition from a book or whatever, but this is how I explain influencer marketing. It's about leveraging the power or influence of individuals to promote, grow, and tell your brand story to be able to reach your target audience. Okay, so you're leveraging their power, you're leveraging their channels, you're leveraging their influence to tell your brand story. That's what influencer marketing really is. Why has it become popular? It's become popular for all sorts of reasons, but two of the main reasons are that one, a lot more people are using blockers. What that means is that if you want to run ads to tell your story, to get your product, to get your creatives in front of your audience, the likelihood is that the majority of them you won't be able to cut through because they are using ad blockers. That's number one. And in fact, when a lot of us see ads on social media, for example, we see that text there saying sponsored, we skip it. So the conversion rate for ads is very, very low. The second one also is that we need to tell more authentic stories. And one of the best ways to tell authentic and believable stories is through other people. Okay? People who have the audience that we are interested in and will be able to tell the stories in a way that they'll be believable. So they can influence. And influence here means change the preferences, the buying habits, and the choices of the people that follow them. So that's essentially what influencer marketing is. Okay. Now, why has it become so popular? It's become popular, like I said, because of the reasons I gave. That one, because we're using ad blockers, and number two, because brands really need to reach the audience, and they are not able to do that authentically and believably because people can clearly see when there are ads. Okay. So what are some of the things that an influencer needs? I mean, an influencer needs to have an audience to start with. Okay, they need to have a following. It doesn't mean that it has to be a big following, but it has to have a follow. They have to have a following, and that following or audience should be the audience that you are interested in. Meaning, the audience are people who you want to target, who you want to use your products, who you want to use your services, and you are targeting them through the influencers channels. Okay, they need to have authenticity as well, and this is so important. If people don't believe ads, they can tell also when the influencer is not being authentic and is just telling them stories. So they have to be able to tell authentic and believable stories that people can relate to. Okay, it's very, very important, and that means they have to be believable. Okay, believability is very, very important. And they have to have a connection with their audience and the brands they love. Okay, if they have no connection with their audience, there may be people who are there, have huge following, millions of followers, but the followers do not have any connection with your brand. They are not people who you are even targeting, who will ever be interested in your brand. They are not in your, brand persona. So it's very, very important that you understand this bit. There are other things that an influencer needs, but these are some of the few things that an influencer needs. Okay. Now, for the rest of this podcast, what I want to do is run through some of the things that you need to do to make the influencer relationship work for you. When you're doing influencer marketing, you need to make sure that the relationship is working for you as the brand. Okay. The first thing to do is think of your objectives. What exactly do you want to achieve as a brand at that point when you are running a campaign, when you need an influencer? What do you want to achieve? And there may be a couple of things. You probably just want to achieve awareness, meaning just want eyeballs. Want people to know there's a bottle of water. There's a water bottle called this. Okay, that's all you need to know. So you're looking for eyeballs, and in that case, often what the way I put it often is that you want to use the influencer as a giant billboard. There are some influencers I've used and worked with. I give them a product, and when they're just packing to go on a trip, they just throw the product on their bed, and immediately the product is spotted as a product placement, and immediately people start noticing that there's a new product in town. So that's creating awareness. Very, very important. Okay. There's also a point in time when you don't really need awareness. You've already done that bit. What you need is engagement. Okay. Or you want to drive traffic to your website, or you want to drive traffic to your store. So you want people to make a purchase, all those things. Okay. So you need to clearly identify what your objectives are. And in selecting the influencer, you need to make sure that the influencer can help you to achieve those objectives. Okay. Then once you've done that, you identify the type of influencer you need. Is it like the mega celebrity influencer that you need, or you need a couple of nano influencers, the small ones, or whatever? You need to identify the type of influencers that you need, because each type of influencer will give you different things and they will meet different objectives. There are times when you're better off using, let's say, 20 nano influencers instead of using one mega or celebrity influencer. Okay, it's very, very important that you understand these things. Now, once you've identified the ones that you want to work or potentially want to work with, then there's something we call influencer outreach. This is when you reach out to them through an email or through their agent or whoever, saying that there's a campaign that we want to do and potentially we want to work with you on this campaign. Okay, that's what we call an influencer outreach. So you send them that message, you reach out to them, then you start talking. That's what we call it, influencer outreach. Then the engagement starts. Now, within the engagement period, there are a number of things that need to happen. You need to discuss and agree the scope of work clearly. Okay? If you don't do that, you might end up not getting the results that you want. Okay? Very, very important. You need to discuss and agree on the scope of work. You don't send the influencer off to go and do things, and in the middle of the campaign you say, but you're not doing the things that I want you to do. No, you need to agree the scope of work. Okay? I want you to post 3 times a day. 2 of them should be a video. Agree every detail. Then you need to discuss and agree on the deliverables. What are they going to be expected to deliver? For example, if it's just for reach, awareness, reach, okay, if it's just for that. For example, you may say that each of the posts that you post should, for example, have 50,000 likes or reach 50,000 people within a day or whatever. And sometimes when I've done it, what I do is I ask the influencers to send me the analytics for their specific posts. Okay. I know it's difficult sometimes working with them, but this is how you need to do it. Okay. So you agree from the answer. These are the deliverables. You're gonna have to send me analytics for the posts that you are putting up. All those things. But clear. We're building up. Starting from the objectives. You've identified the ones you want. Now you're talking to them, you're engaging them and discussing how this project is going to go. And agree on the ways of working. Meaning, for example, every Monday, you need to send me, let's say, the analytics. Give me screenshots of this. Every Tuesday, for example, the copies that you're going to post. If I need to review the copies that or the captions for the post that you're going to put up, I need to be able to see them. This is when I'm going to pay you this. All those things, ways of working. For example, where are the product creatives going to come from? Okay, all those things you need to do them. Okay. Then agree also on the compensation. Very, 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 very important. Okay, some of them might be like a flat rate, but for some of them also, where for example is to drive sales, you give them a unique link, and that compensation will be based on how many conversions, how many sales they are able to generate, for example. So you need to agree all these things. Okay. Now there may be other things that go into the engagement phase, but these are some of the critical ones. Now, once you've done that, then you have to sign a contract. Very, 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 very important. And this is where sometimes you may even need to consult a lawyer to help you with the draft contract. Once you have a contract that works, yeah, for every influencer, you change it or whatever. or you may have an in-house lawyer who helps you, so you do it for every individual influencer. But you have to have a contract because the way the thing works, different things could happen. These influencers, especially the mega ones, they get into all sorts of things, and you may find that they are doing things that probably are not in line with what you expect them to do, or they are taking on, for example, other contracts, they're taking on other brands that could be in conflict, or not even in conflict. I'll give you an example. I engage a contract, an influencer on behalf of a client to do a bit of work. So on a Sunday morning, they posted something, was doing very well. Then by the afternoon, they had gone to post something else, which was personal. And that was so personal that they started trending, were trolling them. Guess what was happening? All the traffic on their platform that day was engaging with that post, that personal post. And the post for my client was completely ignored because the conversation that they were generating on that day was all about this personal post they did and never about the product post. So sometimes, even in the community, I agree with them that when you post something about the product, for example, within the next 6 hours, don't post anything personal. So that one, that influencer post will sit at the top of their timeline. For example, people who get alerts from them, that's what they would see. All those things. So you need to agree this and put everything in the contract. Okay. Now, once you've done that, it's important also that you onboard the influencers. Okay. The influencers are not marketing people. Even if they were marketing people, they would not understand your brand the way that you understand your brand. So you need to onboard them. Give them brand immersion. Get them to understand what the brand is, the brand, tone, everything, even the choice of words you use to write the brand, okay? The people that you're targeting. All those things, very, very important. So onboard them. Okay. Now, once they have been fully onboarded and you are happy and you're comfortable for them to go and start working on the brand, then you can say, okay, from this date, you can start creating content or executing the contract that we've agreed. Okay. So that's when the execution happens. Now, I often say this. With digital, you don't have to wait till the end of a campaign to start optimizing performance. So, even in campaign, you have to do the three things I often say: monitor, measure, and optimize performance. So, they may post something today, you'll find that it's not doing as well as we were expecting it to do. It's all right to place that phone call and say, the next post, let's tweak it this way. Let's do this. Let's do that. Okay, it's very, very important that you do these things. So in campaign, monitor, measure, and optimize performance. And then review posts in campaign. Okay, and that's why, like I said, after every, period, agreed period, let's say weekly, ask them to send you the analytics for the post that they put out. So you can look at that, review it. This one didn't do as well. What happened? What could we have done better? All those things, okay? Now, when everything is done at the end of the campaign, let me encourage you to do this. Complete a report for the campaign, okay? Because that becomes a case study for you to go back and say, all right, when we're doing the next campaign, we can take learnings from this campaign the way we did it. Number two, the report also helps you to be able to go back to management and say that this campaign, 1, 2, 3 is what we did. This is how it worked. And you can be able to clearly see that this is the contribution we made to the business with this campaign. Okay. I hope this has been useful. And thank you very much for joining me on this one. If you are new here, please subscribe to my channel. Okay. And let me know what you think about these videos. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.